That escalated quickly. Been on the internet lately, and it's it's crazy. A lot of people are asking a lot of very pointed questions, but they're not asking good questions, and a lot of them are quite humorous, and a lot of them are quite clueless. So I thought I'd read a bunch of these questions, because some of them are a little funny, but some of them are setting these people up for failure. So, little history lesson first, and we'll get to the questions. For all of you that have been doing the internet since the 80s like me, I'm a lot more of a nerd than people will realize. I started learning how to code in 1985, 86. Of course, it's so far beyond what I'm doing now that I don't even understand it anymore. But back in the late 80s and early 90s, if you wanted, before the advent of social media as we know it, the media was still very social with things called forums. And eventually all those forums came together into places like Facebook, TikTok, and all these other things where you had a one-stop shop. So forums were just kind of like the forums that we're seeing in Facebook, like with the individual pages. That's basically what the forums were, but it was just that. You had to go to their website. And boy, it was a great place to meet people and have people hate you. Nothing's changed. The internet's still the internet. There's all sorts of bigotry and stupid things happening, and you don't know nothing. And there's all sorts of people asking stupid questions. But they're not really stupid. They're uninformed and uneducated because they don't think to ask better questions. But sometimes they lend themselves to a lot of funny things. So, let's get going. This right here is my personal favorite. Now, I'm assuming because that was on a trucking website, they're wanting to know where to truck. But for the uninitiated, where's a good place to work? Employees get a pretty good decent at taco shop. I got a funny story about that. Years ago, a buddy of mine worked at the taco shop. Said drunk guy came in, ordered $300 worth of tacos, paid for them, and then walked out, and nobody ever saw him again. I know he probably woke up the next morning wondering what happened to $250 and a lot of regret. $300 worth of tacos, and you got to realize at the time they were about 49 cents a piece. So that's a lot of tacos. In the world we live in, you need to be a little more pointed with your questions. Do you want to work in the dispatch office? Do you want to go long haul? What do you want to do? You have to be more pointed. When people start laying out what they want, you know, everybody's like, you don't ask for much, do you? Well, you have to ask for it. If you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. That's just the way of the world. And you can't get mad when you don't get it because you didn't ask for it. So, ask pointed questions. You're going to get made fun of. This is the internet. People are going to trash you. Just stick to your guns. Ask better questions, and it'll all work out in the end. I hope. Here's a good one. Need a good lawyer to fight DOT ticket for holding an electronic device in hand in Savannah, Georgia area. Any recommendations? Now, I understand what this guy's doing. Facebook is not a place for legal advice. We all know that. And I'll probably be saying that again. When you're out looking for a lawyer, this really isn't the place to do it. There are all sorts of organizations and stuff out there, and Google's a great big help to find traffic lawyers in the specific area that you got the ticket. Holding a handheld device, that's probably not something that you're going to get out of. You never know. Guys do all the time, but being a truck driver, it's tough. So, yeah, I can see where the guy could be looking for a lawyer, but doing it in such a generic fashion, you know, maybe he needed not to give so much information because he's probably being ridiculed for that right now. But that being said, you know, Google search, and organizations like, I don't know, like the Ticket Clinic or all these other ones might be a better source. But Facebook, social media, you could go either way, but just be careful taking any kind of legal advice or lawyer advice on social media. As we're going to see on this next screen grab, some of these questions have the potential to get you in a lot of trouble. It's just a bad question. But not only is it a bad question, it's being aimed at a bad audience for the question. While you might get one right answer, you're going to get about 38 wrong ones. So here's the question. Here it is. Can you write off your factoring company when filing your taxes? Questions like this tend to bother me. And the short answer, with just the information that I've been given, is no. The other question is, why would I have a factoring company with direct pay as prevalent as it is? But that's my opinion. You don't know if I'm right or not. This is the problem. Facebook is not the place for these kind of things. You need to talk to your tax accountant. Here's the long and short of it. I'm going to give it to you. Your tax accountant is there. What people are doing when they ask questions like this is they already have an answer. They're just looking for confirmation, because chances are they have already talked to somebody and they've told them the right answer and they're questioning it. You hire people to give you the right answers. You have to trust those people. That's why I have a tax accountant and a bookkeeper. I'm a one-truck operation. Hey, I have to have somebody like that. Don't be cheap, because asking questions like this, as innocent as they are, could cost you a lot of money in the long run. Be careful. Social media and forums and places like this are not a question, or not a place a question like that should be asked. Now, this next one had me laughing pretty good, because apparently this old boy has no idea what he's about to get into, and he is very much into pain. I have a potential jump seat warmer who is curious about how drivers with fur babies manage OTR. She has 3 cats and has never been on the truck long term before. Any tips for truckers OTR with house cats? Truthfully, at this point, I don't even know how to answer that question. That's just, he didn't ask a bad question. But boy, he's fitting to put himself not only for a lot of ridicule, but I hope you really like that woman. You're going to cram her and 3 cats in the truck. There's 2 things are going to happen. You're probably going to end up hating each other in 4 or 5 days. And them house cats going to make that truck stink. That truck is going to stink. If cats and animals, especially cats, have not grown up in the truck, you ain't gonna have no luck. You're gonna get it going down the road, and them house cats, the minute you shut that thing off, they're gonna be out the door and you'll never see them again. Which in your case might be good, but you'll have a very angry woman on your hands. And as truck drivers, we have enough problems without having to deal with angry women who lost house cats on the road. My personal opinion, Bubba? No, you probably ought to pass on this one. Yeah, you probably ought to pass on this one. What is acceptable pay for a new driver? I mean, what should I look for when talking to recruiters at the school? That right there is actually a pretty good question. He's looking to know what he needs to ask for to get paid, or what they're offering is a good starting wage. It goes all over the board these days. A lot of companies, they're good companies, they're not going to start you high, especially if they train you. But you got to remember, as I've said before, you're talking to recruiters. They're going to give you the top end, or what you can expect within a year. They're not going to lie to you, but they ain't going to tell you the whole truth either. Job is to recruit. They're car salesmen. We all know this. So, what's the right number?
can't tell you that. You know, anything in the 40s for a brand new driver is good. At this point, anything is good. You want miles as a company driver. You want to know that you're going to make a decent living. Asking and trying to get at least $1,000 a week take home sounds like a lot of money, but in today's market, it's really not. Bringing home $1,000 a week is not out of the ordinary. Bringing home $400 to $500 a week, you're getting screwed unless you're just not working. You have to know, this is a good question. And, you know, there was some decent answers. There was a lot of BS too. It takes time to sift through those. What do I look for? What do I ask? Talk to a recruiter. Be very straightforward. Get into a lot of these magazines, a lot of these forums. Find out what the starting pay for new recruits is. Because the starting pay for a new recruit versus the starting pay for a new driver are two completely separate things. Remember that. A new driver is going to get paid more than a new recruit. A new recruit, they will start him at the bottom of the barrel. You're going to have to climb out of it. New recruits are money in the bank for these guys. So watch yourself and do your homework and you'll be all right. And then there are questions that just really should not be asked. This is a question that gets asked literally every third day. It's about concealed carry, weapons in the truck, and whatnot. This is a hard question. At the time of this recording, there is no federal law saying you are prohibited from having a concealed carry firearm in a semi-truck or commercial vehicle. However, you have to adhere to state laws, and this is where it gets convoluted. State laws, county laws, and city laws, they all vary. Like for instance, in Wichita, where I was living at one time, it was actually more strict than it was outside the city limits. But then the county had their own thing that kind of contradicted the state law. It was real convoluted. See, it's already getting confusing. Do your homework. Make sure you have the proper documentation. There is no such thing as a federal firearms license for concealed carry. I want you to know that. They get it confused with a federal firearms license, which means you can be a dealer. So, putting all that aside, most of the time people do not want you to carry a firearm because it's due to the insurance policies of the customer that not the customer, but the company you're leased onto or you drive for. Always follow the law and always follow the rules. This is not a question that should be asked on Facebook because there's a myriad of answers and 95% of them are wrong. If you have questions, it's important to get on the government websites for the area that you're in or the state that you're in to get the correct answers. Do not rely on hearsay and Facebook. These are things. This isn't like you ran over a curb or took out a stop sign and pay a fine. This is stuff this is felony kind of stuff. This is stuff that can get you in a lot of trouble. So always, always, always do your homework and do not ask questions like this on social media because I'll guarantee you they do not have the right answer. So watch yourself. And always obey the rules of the company you're in, and always obey the rules for the state that you're in. Follow the rules, guys, and you'll be a lot happier. Truthfully, we could probably do internet videos for quite a long time. I searched for a bunch of funny ones, but that all seemed to have been deleted, and I may have gotten another 24-hour ban for posting something that I found on Facebook. It's funny how that works. The internet and trucking, there's a lot of questions out there that just shouldn't be asked. The majority of people on Facebook are either searching for confirmation or they're fishing for the right answer or for an answer that fits them. It's the wrong place for that, guys. These guys will get you down a rabbit hole. They'll get you in a lot of trouble. Do your research. Do your due diligence. This is your business. This is your livelihood. These people that are shelling this advice, they got no skin in the game. They have nothing to lose by telling you wrong. This is why you surround yourself with good people who are going to be working for your best interest. It's why you hire people. You hire people to do your taxes and your bookkeeping. If you do your own bookkeeping, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure you got a good accountant to do your taxes that's going to go over your numbers. That's what I do. You know what? She's great. And haven't had a problem. But if you don't know enough that you don't know, be honest with yourself and admit you don't know enough, and then go out and find someone who does. These people out here on Facebook are just fishing for the answers that's going to suit them. They don't want to put in the work. They just don't want to put in the work, the time, or the effort to do the right thing that will benefit them in the long run. That's just the truth. A lot of these answers you can find with a 30-second Google search. People don't even want to do that. They took the time and spent more time posting on Facebook asking a question that they could have found in half the time. That being said, do your due diligence. Have fun out here, guys. Be careful. Internet's a wild and woolly place, and hopefully I'm going to be putting together another one of these videos about trucking in the internet. I've been looking for funny things because there's a lot of idiocy out here, and I'm here to make fun of that. So hopefully you got a sense of what's out there, the kind of questions to ask, what not to ask, and just generally watch yourself. There's a lot of people out here, like I said, they got no skin in the game. You get in trouble, they don't care. So take care. I appreciate it. We'll see you next video.